are here at the Coffee and Cars event, which is located at Carolina Dragway. And we have, of course, Jim Pate is here with me. And we also have Richard Ingram here.
Good morning.
And good morning. And Richard has a car that he has brought in a huge setup. And we can't see his car from here. It's behind the trailer. What kind of vehicle do you have here with us today?
2014 COPO Camero. It's number 12 of 69. They only build 69 per year.
Oh, wow. And this vehicle, I see a picture of it now. Like the front wheels are, what is that? Couple of feet off the ground?
About 2 feet off the ground.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And what got you into drag racing?
It's a funny story. My dad worked all the time when I was a kid, and so he was never at home. So I got a dirt bike and then a go-kart. And then after I turned 15, my mom bought me a 71 Mach 1 Mustang from Garner Motors. And I had that car until I went to law school in 1987. But I got a ticket in that car going too fast, but I used to come out here and race it. And then when I started practicing law in 1990, I didn't mess with cars really until about 2016-17. But I bought this one, and I've been coming out here racing it, and I actually have 3 others.
Yeah. And I'll mention this part when you mentioned, attorney, you're the, as far as I know, the top motorcycle injury attorney that I've ever heard of.
Yes. I'm quite normal. I'm not your average lawyer, but I rode a motorcycle when I was a kid from 1971 until high school and a little bit after high school. When I came back, everybody in my church rode a motorcycle. And being a lawyer, when something happened, they call me. But I don't do any advertising that says get hurt and call me. My stuff basically says, look, share the road, look twice, save a life, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you do a lot to promote motorcycle safety. I know that.
I do.
Those type things from happening.
Correct. That's what's on the side of my trailer.
But you also like to go fast.
I do. I love to go really fast. I had a jet ski crash about 3 summers ago going 87 and a half on the river. It was quite entertaining.
Well, yeah, water ends up being pretty hard, doesn't it?
I could show you all the photos, but we can't put them online.
Yeah. Well, I broke my leg on a dirt bike back in March, so I know a little bit about what you're talking about. Jim, did you have any questions you want to ask Richard?
You mentioned that your car is a low production number. Is that car built a factory and then with a subcontractor to make it a certain way each of those 60-something times?
Correct. The subcontractor's Turnkey Automotive. Just a quick history. Chevrolet in 69 built a COPO Camero. It means Central Office Production Order. So 2012 they brought them back and they built 69 per year. So in order to get one, you have to buy one from someone who won one and paid for it, or you have to have won one. So I've been lucky enough to win one, and the other 3 I've bought.
How do you win one?
Email. You enter a drawing.
It's almost as hard as getting Masters tickets.
Much harder. Yes.
All right. So you say you have a couple of others. What are they?
Also COPO Camaros. I have a 214. I have a 217 with a 350 supercharged motor. It's about 1,400 horsepower. And then I have a 2018 Hot Wheels COPO Camero with a 427, as this car has a 427, about 840 horsepower.
Just in case.
Just in case. They're slow. But anyway, and then I have a blue 2019 50th anniversary COPO Camero.
Sort of in a rut, aren't you?
Yes, very
It's a good
much.
rut to be in. One of the fellows in the production team for this radio show asked, what's the fuel requirements, octane-wise, and so forth?
We run C12, and C12, I believe, is about 112 octane.
Where do you get it?
Buy it here. Or you can buy it from VP.
It's a little more than $3.50 a gallon, I guess.
A little bit, but here at Carolina Dragway is a good price.
Yeah, compared, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you get ready for your race, we've seen the folks here at the Dragway doing quite a bit of work on the track. What do you have to do each time before you are willing to take a scoot down the track here?
Well, first you want to check your tires closely. You want to make sure they're in top shape because you don't want a tire going down during the race. And then, of course, you want to make sure your motor's running well, new spark plugs, that sort of thing. And for my car, you have to adjust the suspension. That way it doesn't wheelie too much.
And that's not an old school method anymore. Is it electronic adjustment?
Exactly. I'm not that used to electronic keyboard adjustment. Back in the day, we'd set the timing and the dwell and the accelerator pump and the jets and the idle and all that sort of thing.
I remember in the earlier days, some of the decades to which you refer, everything was listening to it, a few instruments and so forth, and you hope for the best.
That's correct. Now when you listen and something doesn't sound right, you have to replace a crank sensor or cam sensor or something like that, or oxygen sensor.
And you're always looking at a laptop rather than sticking your ear over the engine as much.
That's correct.
Wow. Richard, I really appreciate it, and you're going to be getting the car ready to run down the track in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to be able to watch that during our second hour.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for having me here this morning.
Yeah, you're going to be on the screen, so this has to be one of your really good runs. No failing tires.
We'll see what happens. They're brand new Goodyears.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate
Thank you.
coming by.
Very interesting.
And we're going to have Michael Rivers come on right after this. Michael is here because I promised someone that called and asked a few questions about machine shop work, or they asked about engines, the difference between a remanufactured engine and a rebuilt engine. And Michael here has been in the machine shop business for many, many years, and he would know the questions of some of the things that they do to an engine when they're rebuilding it. And so I'm gonna get them to put the equipment. I'm gonna get them to put the equipment on Michael over there. We can get him all dressed up, and he's gonna be ready to tell us a few deals about what they do when they remanufactured an engine, and they getting him all wired in now. He is getting ready, and I am so looking forward to seeing Richard Ingram go down the strip. And actually, even when I get a chance to see the car, this is going to be so exciting during our second hour. And Michael Rivers, hello there.
Hello.
Yeah,
Good to
Michael's
be here.
a good friend of mine, and I've known him for many, many years. And the reason that I know him so well is I call him because of his expertise on a regular basis. Not only does he do the machine shop work that we have done, but he also, it's not uncommon for me to call and say, hey, Michael, have you run into this before? And he says yes. Michael, I'm going to ask you real quick because we got a couple of minutes. What's the difference between a remanufactured engine or rebuilt engine?
We do all the same things that they do remanufacturing, but it's basically like you said. Remanufacture is more of an assembly line process where, one guy does one thing and that's all he does all day long. Where, I have 4 other guys, and we may do 2 or 3 of the processes on the engine.
They're more like artists,
Right.
When they go in there, they know the situation, and where I do know that when I walk in there, I see engines shoot huge, almost as big as this room. It's amazing how big some of those are. But I also see a large number of just regular vehicle engines,
Sure.
And I believe that you get a lot of them, like if someone has a vehicle that they're restoring.
Absolutely. It's the way we do it is custom. You get to keep your engine. You really don't know what you're getting when you get a remanufactured engine. It may have been remanufactured once before. And, this is the second or third go round for it where you've had yours and you've taken care of it, never run it hot and low on oil and that sort of thing. And all it needs basically is freshening up, where the remanufactured engine you get might be, it's a mismatch. There's no telling. There could be heads off this block and, another block, another crank and stuff like that. So definitely for the vintage stuff, it's always nice to keep your numbers matching and all original. Yeah. And plus, when I do it, I can do it to your specs. If you want a little bit more power or, a certain type sound or something like that, it's no problem at all. We adjust on the fly.
Well, something you told me a long time ago, I walked in there and you were working on an engine. It was a pretty large engine. You said, Aaron, when I work on one of these, they expect this thing to last 300,000 or 400,000 miles, so it has to be perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And you take a lot of pride in what you do. You got an absolutely beautiful shop. I mean, just equipment. And I talked to one of the guys, and he said, Aaron, we even move the tables on a regular basis to make sure there's no dust or dirt under the tables. It's how clean it is. Hey, we're out of time. Time clock's on E. We'll be right back with more of the CNC Automotive Show, and we will see some cars go down the track. We'll be right back.